Welcome. Thank you so much for joining today's session on Sequel Viewpoint Drilldown to learn a bit more about how to get more out of your data. My name is Brandy Lulling, and I am the support manager here for the Business Intelligence support team. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm even happier that you joined me today. Quick note on our agenda. We'll cover drill down options that Viewpoint has, and then we'll break into specifically into those two unique options, dynamic and application. I'll show you some live demonstrations on some application drill downs that I already have created and also how easy it is to create them. And then hopefully we'll have time at the end for some Q&A. However, if I should talk a bit long and we don't end up having time at the end, please don't hesitate to submit your questions. We will make sure that they get answered. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So, drill down options. There are two available for you through Sequel Viewpoint. One is dynamic drill down, and the other is the application drill down. Through dynamic, this is going to allow you to choose between regroup or show details, and it is available automatically over any grouping view. Dynamic drill down is a way to empower your users to drill into data, to gather more information, and to make additional meaning out of the information that they already have. Application drill down is a predefined path, and it's a collection of views, script views, or host tables combined together with an option file that make up this new object called an application. It's a little bit more on the setup for the designers, but it is very end user friendly. So you may be thinking to yourself, okay, which one do I do? Well, it depends on what you need. The dynamic drill down is best for ease of use, on the fly type drill down. Users are already familiar maybe with the fields that are in the files. They know exactly what they're looking for, and what they're looking for may change day to day or hour to hour. This is available through Viewpoint and through our SQL web interface, or SWI. The application drill down, again, is a predefined path, so someone would need to create that. But it does have a few additional benefits. One, the drill down can contain data that are in files other than the ones that are in the view that's already being displayed, whereas dynamic drill down can only drill into the fields that are already in the files in that view. You can use application drill downs with tables or script views, or even websites if you want. And that would be really more considered a drill through function. We do need to have an option file that's associated with the application drill down, and we'll get into that in just a few moments. And this makes everything available through, the application drill down are available not only through Viewpoint and SWI, but also through green screen, if you will, SQL, the command line driven based SQL. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the dynamic drill down first. Dynamic drill downs are available to you automatically in Viewpoint or SWI from any view that has a grouping function. And the grouping functions can be seen here on this slide. So essentially, if your view, if your SQL contains a group by clause, we can do a dynamic drill down. Those two features will be available for you. And we'll look and see what that looks like here soon. So the first option in a dynamic drill down is the regroup option. So you start by displaying the results of your primary grouped view, and then you right click on whichever row you would like to get more details on, or if you're choosing regroup like this slide shows, you can click anywhere, because what you're doing is taking the data that's presented in the first view and grouping it in a different way. So you can see here we started with customer name, the number of orders that customer had, and then their amount that they have on their orders. We're going to regroup that information by state. And then the third screenshot on this slide is the results from that. So if you were to take sum the column amount on order from both of the results, you would get the same value. It's the same data set, it's just grouped in a different way. The second option for dynamic drill down is show details. And this is where it's going to matter which row you select. So in this example, we did a right click on Lawrence Design. Again, we're choosing state, but we're not regrouping. We're actually drilling into the data. So for Lawrence Design, we want to see what state they're in. So we display Texas. They've got 2 orders and $44,430 on order. All right, so let's compare that or contrast that to application drill downs. So application drill downs, again, are the predefined paths. So you need to know where you're drilling from and where you're drilling to. And keep in mind that variables are the key to link these two. So you can drill from a view or a host table, or you may call it a viewpoint table, or a script view. But what you can drill into is much more broad. You can go from a view to a view, or to another host table, or you can drill into a script view, or websites, or Windows functionality, like bringing up the calculator, for example, all kinds of different options for the drill to paths. With the variables, you want to make sure that the starting object, we'll just use view for an example, your starting view contains a value that is going to be passed from the start into the drill down end. The destination object has to have that data, or that object has to have that value, I should say, as a variable. For ease of use, I highly recommend naming the variable as the same name as the field. I know that's a bit confusing. I promise it'll get easier when you get to see it here in just a few minutes. All right, so within the application itself, so you've got 2 views, for example. View A is your summary view, view B is your detailed view, and you want to drill from A to B. So they're linked by, say, customer number. We've got a variable we display customer number in view A. We have a variable in view B to receive customer number. Now, within the application object itself, there's 2 different types of links, implied and explicit. Implied links are the easiest to create. The application object will most likely do them for you. The field and the variable names have to match if you're going to use this type of variable. And the descriptions available are based on the objects themselves when you actually do your drilling. For these, you are not available, or you're not able to use these from SQL web interface, only from Viewpoint. And you can only work with views and host tables. However, if you want to expand your application drill down options a bit, you would use explicit links, and they're very easy to create, as you'll see. Again, it is a bit more to configure, but it is quick and easy. The field name and the variable names can vary, although again, ease of use, I highly recommend that they stay the same if at all possible. You can customize your drill down options, what you actually see when you do a right click, what the window that'll pop up will show. You can make those customized. You will need to have an option file and command, but again, that gets created very easily as well. By using an explicit link, you open up your application drill down to not only Viewpoint and SQL web interface, I'm sorry, not only Viewpoint, but to the SQL web interface and the command line if you should wish. All right, so last slide I mentioned an option file. I'm sure you're thinking, oh boy, another file. How do I create that? What is it? Maybe some of you are thinking, wait a minute, I've seen something called opt file in the SQL library. And yes, you're right. There is a file called opt file in the SQL library. It is, think of it like a template. We don't recommend you write to it, just in case something would happen and we overwrite it or we make changes to it during an upgrade. So you'll want to ensure that you make a copy of opt file and put it in your own library. Now this also opens up all kinds of additional functionality options or even security options, because you can have any number of different opt file objects on your system and place them in different libraries. So all of your users or all of your departments can have their own drilling options if you would like. All right, so the file members, the opt file, the explicit links and implied links, I know that's a lot. So let's get into a demo and I'll show you a little bit more. So maybe it'll all come together. It should all come together and make things a little bit easier to picture, and you'll be able to recognize what's going on. All right, so for the live demo, I'll show you how to use the dynamic drill down. We'll drill through and do some drill down and drill through using an application drill down. I've got a few examples, and then I'll show you how to create one and how to add that option file. Let's go ahead and start. All right, so we are in Viewpoint. I'm going to work with our AR view out of the Sequel EX library. Now, Sequel EX, for those who may not be familiar, is just an examples library that we provided when you installed Sequel Viewpoint, or Sequel, I should say, for the first time. It should be out there. There should be two copies, Sequel EX and Sequel EX2. It contains just some physical logical files that have some dummy data or some test data, along with all kinds of additional objects, views, reports, tables, and so on, that you can play with if you want to try something out, see how it works without going over your data, or if you want to get examples of maybe you're looking for a specific functionality, you're not sure how to do it, check out Sequel EX. It's possible that there is an example out there for you already. It's also a communication tool, if you will, with our support team. If you ever call support or contact support for a how-to, chances are they're going to respond with an example using the Sequel EX data because it's something we have in common. All right, so this view, AR, is a grouping view, as you'll see. We have all kinds of sum fields, and then when you flip to the SQL tab, you can see there's a group by. If you're not familiar yet with Viewpoint, I will let you know one of the biggest features of this interface is as you're building your SQL statement using the files and fields GUI, we will automatically do things like add the group by. You don't have to remember to do that. So when we display the results by double clicking, we'll see that we get a set of data that is grouped by sales region, and it's an aging of AR. So I'm going to just, let's go to sales region 30. Right click, show group, or I'm sorry, show details and regroup. We want to regroup this data. Maybe we want to do it by salesperson instead. All of the fields that you see here are in one of the file, at least one of the files that are in the view already. Choose the one that I wanted to see, and we run another view behind the scenes. So now we have the aging by salesperson number. Great tip though, if you're ever using these drilled options and you realize that this is a great view, I really like this, I don't want to have to remember how I got here, you can go backwards. So you can do a file, save view definition. So So you can actually create a view from this result set. So let's go back to the AR view. And again, I will pick on 30 and we're going to do show details. So we're actually going to do some drilling. So for the sales region, I want to see the salesperson again. I want to see, we've already got regions, so we don't need to check that. I want to see their status and if they're a preferred customer. So again, the viewpoint magic happens behind the scenes. And we bring up the aging information again with the additional detail. So if we find that there are 5 rows for the grouped view, a count of almost $380, click on the same column. We have 8 rows now because we have more detail added. And now it's $882. And that is because of the difference in the details. Okay, so that is dynamic drill down. We'll go ahead and exit out of there. I'm going to go over and let's take a look at some of the predefined applications that we have. So we'll start with this first one that has an example of drill down and drill through. So it looks like any other view because that is the starting point. And let's pick on, let's go sports shop. So this time I'm going to right click, and instead of regroup and show details, I have our application drill down options. So there's a few different things here. Customers within a region. So since I chose sports shop, it's going to pass in the sales region 10 to give details on that. So this is more of a drill through because we're not really getting details more specifically to sports shop. They're specific to a higher level worth of, or a higher level value. You can continue to drill and keep going down depending on how your application was defined. I will right click again on Sports Shop, and this time let's drill down. So I want to see all the orders for this particular customer. So this time we are passing in the customer number behind the scenes, and we can see that they have 2 orders for a total of 9 lines. Well, maybe we want to know exactly what line is on their order. So the designer of this application had created a 3rd step that we could take, and we would come into this level of detail. If you have a SQL table or a host table, you can use that for drilling in your applications. Just keep in mind that you would need to go from a table dimension to a table dimension. All right, so on our dimensions, we have our customer types and then the current balance due by region. So if I want to take a look at customer type RT, we set up our application to drill into the next dimension. And that one is set up to display customers and the state along with their balance due. So I'm sure you're starting to be able to see the power that we have with these applications. I want to show you one more that's predefined because it's just kind of fun. This one is going to drill through into a weather app. So let's see, we'll pick on the donuts because everybody likes donuts, right? So we are actually going to take and pass the zip code from the main view that we'll display into a website and get the weather. Now really we don't need the weather at the donut shop probably, but if maybe you're in a transportation company, this could be more useful. So right click, and this one's set up for local weather. And here we're passing the zip code like I mentioned. So we'll take you out. We just happen to have weather.com. We're not promoting this website. It's just what we have here. All right. So you can see, oh, looks like they're in Chicago, and it's currently 71 degrees. So some fun that you can have, but also very powerful. All right, so let's go ahead and build a application drill down from scratch. I do have 2 views already created. Let's see, let's go back here. Here's my demo library. And I named them YTD Sale No and YTD Sales. So when you run the year-to-date sales, we get a grouped view. So yes, we do have the option for regroup and show details. When we run sales, you'll see that it prompts for the salesperson number, the salesman number. It's because we want to pass it from here to here. All right, so let's go ahead and build the application. So simply go to the new tab, double click on Sequel Application. You can give it a description. And we'll just follow the wizard. So you can see that I'm still using opt file for my applications, option file name, but it's in my own library. Remember, we're going to do, you can, YTD sales, and you can have multiple option commands in one member. I personally like to keep them separated just for ease of use. I can do some easier cleanup that way is what I found. You'll get a pop-up saying, this is new? Are you sure you want to create that? Go ahead and say yes. Oh, and it doesn't like it. Okay, so let's try that. All right. So the next thing you want to do, or next thing you'll need to do, is pick the objects that are going to be linked together using this application. So again, YTD Sale No and YTD Sales. The next step is which one is the starting point. The application builder is pretty smart and it should pick out the starting point, but if it doesn't, you can always choose which one you want to start with. And Sale No is the right one, so we'll just say finish. Now these dotted lines between the 2 views, that is your explicit link. I'm sorry, I take that back. The dotted lines are your implicit link. It's implied because there is a field that is similar in both, and a field that is got the same name as a variable, but these are going to be related somehow. You can stop and leave your application drill down here, but again, you'll only be able to view it or work with it through Viewpoint. If you want to do some more customization, you can create your option file and command. Right click on the drill to view, create option. You can change what you want the drill down option pop-up to say. We're just going to leave it at this for now. And you can change your variables if by chance you did not name the variable the same as your field name. I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and you'll see the dotted line change into a solid line. So let's go ahead and save this. YTD drill. So let's go ahead and find that in our list and double click on it. So we will see the results that we saw when we ran the first view alone. Salesman number, year-to-date sales. Right click. You'll see the show details and regroup because it's also a grouping view. So you can use those options. Or we've got our year-to-date sales by salesperson, which is our drill down. So we're running that second view. And you can see because we had drilled on salesperson 5, we've got those results plus the region. and the state, and so on. Now, this is also a grouping view, so you can keep going if you want. Maybe you want to see the customer that's associated with those records. You can. So obviously you can mix and match. All right. So that was a lot of information in the demo and in the slides, but I don't want to keep you too long. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the slideshow. And wow, was that old? The PowerPoint. Old terminology pops in your head every now and then, doesn't it? All right, so learning more. There's a bunch of different ways you can learn more about both of the drill down types, whether it's the application drill down or the dynamic drill down. Viewpoint's online help is very robust and has some outstanding information on how-tos and it gives good examples, as well as the Viewpoint user guide, which you can download from the Fortra support portal. But we do also offer a Viewpoint application training course. So keep that in mind if you wanted to get a little bit more in-depth on your drill downs, or you had a bunch of other users maybe that you want to teach how to do it. That training course is hands-on through Viewpoint, and it's about, I think, an hour and a half to 2 hours long. All right, and I did also want to do a shameless plug here for another webinar that we have coming up on June 18th. And it is called Maximize Your BI Technology with a Data Warehouse. You know, it's widely recognized that data warehouse is the key to unlocking your full potential of business intelligence. So I'd like to invite you to join our development manager, Alan Jordan, on June 18th to learn how to overcome many types of your data integration challenges. He'll cover things like integrating data from disparate data sources, managing data quality, how to build star schemas, and even implementing complex concepts such as the slowly changing dimensions. If you're not available on June 18th, or if you register and then something happens and you can't join live, you most certainly can go ahead and register. And you will receive a link to the recording after it's built, after the day of the webinar. So take a look at that. Alan's a great guy, knows a lot about data warehousing. Check him out, it works really well. All right, we are just about out of time, so I don't have any time for Q&A. I apologize. Please don't hesitate to either contact support and ask any questions you may have. We're happy to help at any point, or you can also submit your questions through the webinar channel here, and we will make sure to get them answered as soon as possible. Here is how to contact us. We are switching over to a new support portal, and that URL is shown here, support.fortra.com. So we hope to hear from you soon. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you learned something and had a little fun along the way. Have a great rest of your day.